Look, the Blue Jays just made it to the World Series and lost to the Dodgers, and yeah, that stings like crazy. But if you think that's the biggest story in Toronto right now, you're not paying attention. Bichette's contract situation just became the most critical decision this franchise will make in the next decade. We're looking at a predicted $189 million deal, and the entire baseball world is watching to see if Toronto has the guts to pay what it takes to keep their homegrown star. This isn't just about dollars and stats. This is about whether the Blue Jays are serious about competing or if they're about to make the biggest mistake in franchise history. Stay with me because what happens with Bo will define this team's trajectory for years to come. Right now, Blue Jays Nation is dealing with mixed emotions. That World Series loss hurts. Watching the Dodgers celebrate on a field where we wanted to be champions is brutal. But let's get some perspective here. Toronto made it further than the Yankees, further than the Red Sox, further than the Orioles. This young core just proved they can handle October baseball when the pressure is suffocating and every at-bat feels like life or death. And Bichette was absolutely phenomenal when it mattered most. While other big names disappeared in the postseason spotlight, Bo showed up and delivered against elite Dodgers pitching. But here's where things get complicated. Free agency is here and multiple organizations are already circling Bo like sharks. According to MLB insider John Morosi, teams are evaluating him as a second or third baseman because they've already got established shortstops. That World Series performance didn't just help the Blue Jays make a deep run, it massively increased his market value. Every clutch hit, every defensive play, every moment of leadership added millions to his next contract. CBS Sports is now predicting a 7-year, $189 million deal. That breaks down to $27 million per year. To put that in context, that's Willie Adams money with the Giants. But Bo is younger and hitting free agency at the perfect time. The question facing the Blue Jays front office isn't whether Bo is worth that kind of investment. The question is whether they're smart enough and committed enough to pay it. Because make no mistake, if Toronto hesitates or tries to get cute with lowball offers, some team with deep pockets and championship aspirations will swoop in and make him an offer he can't refuse. The rumors are flying right now. Teams are making calls, testing the waters, trying to figure out what it would take to steal Toronto's World Series hero. But here's what gives me hope. Matt Snyder from CBS Sports believes Bo isn't going anywhere. His take is simple and compelling. After the run to the World Series, the Blue Jays have plenty of incentive to keep Bichette around and also the cash on hand to pay what it takes. Think about what that playoff run meant for this organization. The chemistry that developed, the clutch performances, the way this team rallied together when facing elimination. Bo stepping up in those massive moments while other supposed superstars wilted under the pressure. This isn't just about on-base percentage or defensive metrics. It's about keeping the heart and soul of this team intact. Rodgers has the financial resources, the fan base is energized and hungry for more, and Bo has publicly stated he wants to stay in Toronto. All the pieces are there for this to work. Here's where the strategic importance becomes crystal clear. If the Blue Jays lock up Bo for 7 years, they're not just keeping their shortstop. They're sending a message to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, and everyone else in that clubhouse that Toronto is serious about winning championships. That $189 million isn't just buying Bo Bichette's production, it's buying stability for the entire infield. It's showing every potential free agent that the Blue Jays aren't satisfied with just making the playoffs. They want rings. From a roster construction perspective, this move makes perfect sense. Bo has proven he can handle shortstop defense, despite what critics might say about his range. His bat plays anywhere in the lineup. Having that kind of consistency at a premium position for 7 years gives Toronto the foundation to build around. Plus, his age curve means the Blue Jays would be getting his prime years. They're not paying for past accomplishments or hoping a 35-year-old can stay healthy. They're investing in a player entering the best years of his career. The timing of this decision matters more than people realize. Toronto just proved they can compete with anyone when healthy. The young pitching core is developing ahead of schedule. Vlad is entering his absolute prime. Rogers Center was electric during those playoff games, the kind of atmosphere that makes players want to stay and build something special. Why would you break up that chemistry over salary concerns when you have the financial capability to keep everyone together? The optimistic scenario has Toronto locking up Bo before other teams can even make serious offers. Get the deal done before Christmas, enter spring training with the core intact, and make another World Series run in 2026 with unfinished business as motivation. But the cautious approach worries me. What if the front office tries to save a few million and lowballs him?
What if some desperate team with unlimited resources throws $200 million at him while Toronto is being conservative? You cannot let your World Series shortstop walk because you were trying to be fiscally responsible. That's how you lose a fan base and waste championship windows. Key dates are approaching fast. The winter meetings are coming up, and that's traditionally when blockbuster deals get finalized. If Bo's representation starts taking meetings with other teams, the price only increases. The smart play is getting ahead of the market and showing Bo that Toronto values what he brought to that World Series run.
This situation hits me emotionally because I remember those back-to-back championship teams in the early 90s. Joe Carter, Roberto Alomar, that winning culture where everyone believed they'd find a way to win. Toronto is building something special again. You can feel it. Bo Bichette embodies that Blue Jays spirit. He came up through the system, wore the uniform with pride during that World Series, and wants to finish what this team started. These are the moments that define franchises. Do you commit to your homegrown stars, or do you let them walk and spend the next decade regretting it? The bottom line for Blue Jays Nation is straightforward. Bo Bichette just proved in the biggest games of his life that he's a clutch performer who elevates when everything is on the line. That $189 million prediction isn't scary money. It's championship money. After coming within 6 games of a World Series title, this is exactly the time to be aggressive and keep the core together. This is when you double down on what's working, not when you start breaking things apart to save money. So here's what I want to know from everyone watching. Do you believe Bo gets his contract in Toronto, or are we about to watch another team steal our World Series hero? Drop your thoughts below about whether the Blue Jays have the commitment to pay what it takes. And if you believe Toronto is building something special that's worth protecting, make sure you're following along because this contract saga is just beginning. The decisions made this winter will define whether the Blue Jays become a dynasty or just another team that had one good year. Let's talk about it.